In today's episode, here's your chance to win these two little gold coins. Not one or the other, both. This video is a sponsored video, and that puts me in a position to give you a shot at a little bit of gold as a way of saying thanks for watching. Keep watching to learn how. Hello, silver fans. This is T, and you're in the place to be for silver and uranium education, acquisition, and entertainment. Hey, yes, you heard right. I'll be relying on a friend of mine to learn a little bit about uranium and a royalty company that is profiting on this clean energy source. It's called Uranium Royalty Corp. Let's start with my friend, Miss S, to learn a little bit about our radioactive friend, uranium. T. Miss S, thanks for coming on the channel.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, tell us a little bit about uranium. I see you have the periodic table behind you there.
So here's our periodic table of elements. Most elements naturally occurring here on Earth. And so here's uranium, found in our highly reactive series. It has an atomic number of 92. It is found naturally here in Earth's crust. The vast majority of it is found in Russia. It is a heavy metal, and when found in nature is in the form of like a solid rock.
And so what is its use?
So we can use uranium for clean energy, which is the big push right now. A lot of energy sources are polluting our Earth. And so what we want to use uranium for is to move towards phasing out the coal and moving to our highly effective clean energy.
What percentage of America's energy is created by uranium and nuclear power?
So shockingly, about 55% of energy in the United States.
So Miss S, now that my viewers know a little bit more about uranium than they previously did, I'm going to talk to them about a company that I've recently gotten involved with. They are sponsors of this video, and their name is Uranium Royalty Corp. Miss S, don't go away. There's going to be a little quiz at the end, and I'd like you to be a part of that. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Thank you, Miss S. And now that you know the basics about uranium, let me tell you about a company that I've recently gotten involved with. They're the sponsors of this video. But before we go any further, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. This will make you eligible for this giveaway. I'm not a financial advisor, and dear viewers, you should do your own due diligence. In the spirit of full disclosure, upon hearing about this company, I did make an investment and purchase some shares. And yes, they are a publicly traded company, and here's the ticker symbol. As you can see from this chart, the company has been on the upswing over the last month. Very impressive. Who leads this company? A group with extensive experience in the uranium and nuclear energy sectors, including critical experience in mine finance, project identification and evaluation, mine development and uranium sales, and trading with leading companies and institutions in the uranium and nuclear energy industries. Mr. Amir Adnani is the chairman and director, and you'll hear more directly from him in just a moment. Their holdings are spread across North America and even in Africa. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, what exactly is a royalty company? Royalties are a payment to a royalty holder by a property owner or a project operator, and is typically based on a percentage of the minerals produced and the revenues or profits generated from the property. This allows Uranium Royalty Corp to have exposure to a large number of diverse uranium producing properties. Now, time for another tip regarding that giveaway that I mentioned earlier. Be sure to hit that bell notification. Here's why. This 5-ounce bar was won in a recent giveaway on my channel, but the winner never checked back to see if they won. So be sure, and by the way, this one will be given away in my upcoming 10,000 subscriber giveaway. Be sure to hit that bell notification so you see my next video coming up that tells who actually won. Now, back to Amir Adnani. He is super smart. Here he is recently discussing the uranium sector on Fox Business.
Welcome back. U.S. energy companies are now firing back at President Biden's proposed windfall profits tax. One Wall Street Journal opinion piece calling this idea, quote, energy policy for dummies. Joining us right now is Uranium Energy Corp founder and CEO Amir Adnani. Amir, great to have you. Thanks very much for being here. What is your reaction to this windfall tax?
We have a power crisis, an energy supply chain crisis globally, and supply chains start with the source of the energy or the minerals that we got to get out of the ground. And we want to cut that off. We want to tax that. We want to make it more complicated. It makes no sense. And when you think about this, we have a situation. It's like if you have a crisis, if you're flying on an airplane, right? And usually if there's turbulence, oxygen mask comes down and you're supposed to put that on first, right? This is like cutting the oxygen mask off and completely removing it, and then complaining about power prices being too high. We have soaring power crisis in Europe because in Europe, there's been zero investment made and support from a policy point of view in having energy in your own backyard, being dependent on Russia. So now we want to tax our own energy companies instead of supporting them, instead of giving them more ability to drill. And we're doing the exact opposite. I mean, I shake my head. I just can't understand this policy, especially at a time when we're dealing with crises.
Yeah, I want to get your take on sort of the bureaucracy that exists right now, because, you know, the president comes out and he's talking all about we want more production. But we know that when he first walked into office and over the last year and a half, he's been putting barriers in place, bureaucratic barriers in place in terms of limiting the number of leases approved and limiting the amount of production that can be done. But first, tell us how uranium fits in here.
We have the exact same issue in uranium as we do in hydrocarbons. The reality is we depend too much on Russia and former Soviet Union states. And if we don't look for these resources in our own backyard, we're not only going to face surging prices and energy bills that are going to go up, but we're also going to face a real national security threat, because that's what energy is. Energy is life, and we must be in control of our own destiny when it comes to energy. Here you have a situation where for the dependency on uranium, 60% of our uranium is coming from Russia and former Soviet Union states, and we don't mine any domestically. How does that make sense? Why are we not talking about supporting domestic capabilities? Just yesterday, the White House has a briefing with the United Arab Emirates to invest $100 billion abroad to help with energy transition. Fine, great to invest in energy, but why are we investing in energy in our own backyard? Why aren't we putting a fraction of that into making sure we have uranium domestically that's the source of fuel for 1 in every 5 homes in America? This just does not make sense to me, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the event yesterday. The U.S. and the United Arab Emirates signed a strategic partnership to put that $100 billion into clean energy. So you're continuing to see this administration push forward the climate change agenda.
All President Biden needs to do is support domestic capabilities to control our own supply chains. Energy starts with being able to dig material out of the ground, hydrocarbons, minerals, and we must not be afraid of digging. I'm sorry to say this, but what's wrong with digging? We keep investing in above ground infrastructure, but if we don't have the raw material to actually process, then we actually don't control the supply chains. President Biden should really, instead of focusing on investing capital abroad, do it domestically. Help us create tens of thousands of jobs domestically and become energy independent, especially when it comes to nuclear energy, which everyone agrees, including the Biden administration themselves, that we needed for emission-free electricity is nuclear power. Then why are we depending so much on Russian and overseas imports and not building our domestic capabilities? This should really be addressed right away.
Yeah, look where it's gotten Europe and Germany. being forced to go to an alternative because they're so dependent on Russian gas. Amir, thanks very much for laying it all out. We appreciate your time. Amir Adnani joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.
Hey, I told you he was sharp, but what I really like is that he speaks plain English and directly for all to understand, not corporate speak. Now, where can you learn more about Uranium Royalty Corp? Well, their website is very robust, and I encourage you to check it out. And before you do, be sure to make a comment on this video down below. Your comment will make you eligible for the giveaway for these 2 coins. Now, back to the quiz that we talked about.
Hey everybody, it's time for the quiz. What is the symbol for uranium on the periodic table? What is the atomic number? What is the stock symbol for Uranium Royalty Corp? How can you learn more? All right, let us know how you did in the comment section below.
Hey, thanks, Miss S. Really appreciate your help with this video. And to all of my viewers, thank you for watching.